What's going on, guys? Brian Stevens here over at the National Real Estate Post and Mortgage Shots. Good to see you on a Tuesday the 23rd. We're through our first quarter. That's kind of big. I want to tell you guys, I want to talk to you right now about the fact that this mortgage market and real estate market it's changing right before our eyes. It's happening. I know that we keep hearing this, but what we really should be saying is, what do we need to do about it? As loan officers and real estate agents, what do we need to do about it? You see, there's things in our control, things outside of our control. What your company does, you can't change that. What the Fed does, we can't change that. We can't change inventory. We can't change interest rates. We can't change any of those things. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't understand what's going on so we can go ahead and navigate these waters. I'll tell you this right now. Here's what I believe to be true. 6 months, the mortgage market is going to be unrecognizable to where it is today. I know that everybody, particularly with these companies, think, well, that's not going to happen to me. No, I have built this wall around myself, and I believe myself and my company to be bulletproof. I give you Exhibit A, Countrywide, Angelo Mozillo. They were the most bulletproof mortgage company in the country. They were the standard bearer for everything that was right at one point. Well, no, they weren't. Hell, they weren't. They absolutely were. Like I said, Angelo Mozillo and the folks over at Countrywide had a loan program called Friends of Angelo. And those who wrote the Dodd-Frank bill, being Christopher Dodd and Barney Frank, got loans from Countrywide Mozillo, the Friends program, as did the VPs, the presidents of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae. All of them did too. Not to mention a whole bunch of folks over there at the House Services Finance Committee and the Senate Banking Committee. And what happened to him? The Friends of Angelo were the ones who took him down. I'm not saying your company is necessarily going down. I'm just saying this idea of impenetrability is not necessarily factually accurate. So listen, as loan officers, we can't control that stuff. We can't control what we do, and we can't control who we are. So I want to talk about some of that right now. 3 things I want you to really kind of look at here, guys, is recovery, restoration, and redemption. I'm assuming right now, as a loan officer or real estate agent, your business isn't exactly where it wants to be, or you want it to be right now. It doesn't mean it can't get to where it needs to be, even in our changing times. But we have to recover. We have to figure out what's going on. We have to put best practices in place. We have to restore, and then we redeem. And listen, any good piece of literature that you're ever going to read is always about redemption. It could be a comedy, it could be a drama, it could be a tragedy, whatever you think. Your story, you're not done with it yet. We're on chapter 6, and these have happy endings. So I want you to think of the 3 R's: recovery, restoration, redemption. This is where we want to be. This is what we aim for. So let's get back to that original point. I think this is a great picture here. Out of my control or in my control. What you should be doing here is write down the things that are in your control. And then when I think of things that are outside of my control, things that I can't do, what we often do is dwell on those that trigger us and get us off our game. I'm not just talking about with our business, I'm talking about with our lives right now. But as it pertains to our business, what are our triggers? What are the things outside of what we can control? And what are the things that we can't control? Now, guys, we can control, as far as I can tell, aptitude, effort, and actions. Our aptitude, we can learn things. Our effort, we can go at things with unbridled enthusiasm if we choose to. It's a discipline. And of course, we have to take action. If you think you're in control of yourself, I always said, control for me is I can control what I think and what I do. I can control what I say and what I do. I can't control what you do, what you think, and what you say. But if I could actually control what I think and what I do, then my life would be perfect, wouldn't it? I'd have I would have a chiseled body. I'd be in perfect shape because I'd be eating nothing but fantastic food. My business would be absolutely just incredible, impeccable, because I'd be acting on all the things that I know I should do. I'd be seeking out new knowledge. I'd become fluent in the languages of non-QM, the language of technology, and the language of communication. I would be on point. I would communicate with everybody. They would hear my message because I would be grateful. I'd have my gratitude where it needs to be. I would not be entitled to anything, and my ego would be nothing. It would be non-existent. If only it were that easy. But I want you to think about the things that you actually can control and the things that you can't control, because so much of the information that I'm going to share with you are things that are frankly outside of your control. It doesn't mean the information's not good for you to know, but it is outside of your control, and you need to go ahead, identify, label it as such. These are things that I can't do, that I can't control. This is how I should react to the changing situation. These are the things that I should be doing. I also forgot to say this. I cannot control this, but do me a big favor if you like the information you're getting. Share it with your peers in the mortgage and real estate industry. Here's a pretty great list of things we can't control over on our left-hand side. How we respond to emotions and painful feelings. How we respond respond to negative thoughts? Oh, this market sucks. Interest rates suck. How do we respond to memories? Man, I can't go through 2008 again. Oh my God. How much action we take towards our goals? Boy, that's a big one. That is an absolute big one. Do you time block to your day? Do you have purpose-driven days so you can take the actions that you need to take? How much you focus on and engage in what you do? Do we find ourselves death scrolling TikTok or Reddit or Twitter or any of these things? Do we find ourselves in meaningless conversations in the middle of our day? How about even after work? Can we focus on that a little bit more? Make little tweaks to our day. Just little tweaks, little tiny tweaks can have such a huge impact on our complete outcome of what we do. If you've got great ideas, if you see things that make you laugh, if you find something either valuable, entertaining, or enriching, and you share that crap with your friends, turn that towards the direction of your paying audience and share it with them. And always have a moral to the story and a call to action. We can control what we say, what we do, and how we influence people. We can control how much we use values for motivation. We got to talk the talk. We need talkers, but man, do we need walkers. And of course, we can control whether or not we act like the sort of person that we want to be. Also, easier said than done, right? I know that's the case for me. Things that we can't control. How other people treat us. You know what? Someone shits on you. It happens, right? Water off a duck's ass. Do not lose sight of what your goals are. If you're dealing with somebody, if you're a loan officer and you're dealing with a real estate agent who absolutely drives you crazy and you find yourself at the crux or in the middle of a transaction with that person, what you do is you become a stoic. You become Marcus Aurelius, the great leader of the Roman Empire. And you can go ahead and have turmoil on the inside. But boy, when you are talking with that person who is giving you heartache, what you do is you smile and you stoically go about your business. And of course, when that transaction's over, lose the dead weight. I'm sorry, I just don't think we're a good fit. Go find people who represent your values. People that make you smile. We cannot control other people's actions, feelings, beliefs, or thoughts. We have a hard enough time doing ourselves, right? We can't control the passing of time. Boy, I feel that one right now. Turn 50. 50 was the big number for me. We cannot control our physical needs, our food. We can't control the foods we eat. We can't control our sleep. I tell everybody I sleep in. It's like, oh, I can't wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning because I need to sleep in. I'm like, I sleep in too. I just catch my sleeping in on the front end of that equation by going to bed earlier. That's how I find my way of sleeping in. Make sense? We cannot control the past. We cannot control the future, and we cannot control traumatic events, natural disasters, but we get that. Here's why it's important to understand what you can and can't control and what we need to do about it. Right now, you're looking at a graph of the unaffordability of properties. I don't bring this to you to be negative about it, not an iota of that, but it's information that as a loan officer or a real estate agent, we need to know. These are great talking points with our past clients. Loan officers, these are great talking points with real estate agents, but it's what you do with the data that really matters. Are you going to execute the things that you can control? Are you going to spend the time to learn the data, to understand it, and then to objectively find an action plan that you need to take that you can share with those who could benefit your business? Do you have the capacity to do that? For example, right now, I know I've got slides in here talking about HELOC. So, I think it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac is opening up a new program that is going to lead to nearly $1 trillion of loans. So current homeowners can tap into their record equity that they have right now. Well, I know if you've owned a house for over 4 years, you're sitting on a boatload of equity, more than you ever imagined you would ever have. And those people are getting itchy because at the end of the day, people in this country are consumers. We are consumers. I know that because somebody's buying a 2024 Vet right now for $150,000 who cannot afford it. They're going to pay 18% interest on it because, damn it, they deserve it. They turn 50. And they feel that passage of time, that thing they can't control, and they better get it now or they're never going to get it at all. But at the end of the day, that would be a purchase of conspicuous consumption for most of us and something that we probably should not be doing. However, the same person who's buying that Vet is the same person who's looking to tap it into their equity. And if they're going to do that, they might as well do it with a secure loan rather than an unsecured loan. And that's why Fannie and Freddie are opening up new programs to tap into nearly $1 trillion of equity to kickstart the old economy. Because as I'll show you in a minute, we are in fact going into a recession if we're not in one right now. On the left-hand side, we see what our average wages are. On the bottom, we see what the average house price is. The bubbles are going to be the biggest disparities. As our disparities get bigger over on the right that are turning from the dark blue to the black, that shows our least affordable markets that we have right now. And as you can see, those balloons are flying, meaning unaffordability is becoming a bigger and a bigger issue for everybody. Even my generation, the Gen X's, are looking to the baby boomers for down payments because we can't afford to get into homes. Yet we literally make more money than anybody. The millennials are right behind us, hot on our tail, but nevertheless, buying a house has never been so unaffordable. Here's my thing. You as a loan officer right now, you can go ahead and say, okay, I need to start looking at cash out refinances based on the information Brian's showing me. I need to start looking at HELOCs. You know what? I'm going to look at HELOCs box right now, not because I want that $500 check for doing all of that work, which kind of sucks, but I want to have that because maybe it's going to open up an opportunity with my past client to where I can go ahead, have their undivided attention, and I can look into tapping into that database of my past client. Side note, if you're going to have a strategy right now, which is yesterday's strategy, where you're going to say, I'm going to reach out to my past client database. By the way, great idea. But here's the thing. There's a variable at play, and neither me nor you know what it is. And that's how many people are going to respond to whatever your message is. Are you going to call them? Are you going to text them? Are you going to email them? Are you going to instant message them? What are you going to do? How many people are going to pick up and respond? I don't know, Brian. I think 50%. Well, I'm really great at this stuff, 70%. I'm really bad at this stuff, 5%. Doesn't really matter what the number is. It's a variable. It's X. Okay? Now, if you're in the throes of a transaction, especially if you're getting somebody a $200,000 HELOC, how often are they going to respond to your communication? And that would be every time because, of course, that transaction is top of mind to them. So you're going to be smart enough to recognize this, and then you're going to go out there and say, hey, listen, I need to find other people who are tapping into their equity. I need to know your neighbors, your friends. And we politely put this in a very, very calculated manner, and we use that HELOC to springboard us into bigger and better transactions. Or the very, very astute loan officer is going to say, you want to know something? I'm going to take this strategy, which would work for me as a loan officer, and I'm going to go talk to these real estate agents out there who are all clamoring to figure out what the hell they need to be doing right now because there's uncertainty because the real estate industry is further down the road of getting sued to death, more so than the mortgage industry, and these real estate agents are concerned about their commissions, so they need to pick up deals now while they can, but they just don't know what to do. I'm going to go to these real estate agents, and I'm going to explain the exact same strategy I just shared with you that they can share with their past client database, because somewhere in there's going to be a person who's thinking about pulling out some equity on their property to improve their house, but I'm going to change that conversation and say, hey, I get it. You can go ahead and fix your house up. However, what you can also do is buy a house that's already fixed up and keep the house that you're currently in. You see, that $400,000 in equity that you're sitting on in the house that you currently have that you're thinking about pulling that money out on, I would use that as a down payment for an investment property, or rather turn your house into an investment property and move into the new house. You've doubled your real estate holdings. This is a better bet for you. See, if I as a loan officer tell this to all my real estate agent partners, I become the fellow with the answers. I like that idea because I'm going to earn their business outside of my strategy. That I can't control, but I have to plan it, I have to think it, and then I have to execute it, don't I? That makes sense to me because now I get a listing for my agent, I get a buyer side transaction for my agent, and I pick up a loan, maybe two, because we got to pull money out of that house, and then of course we got to do the forward property. I'm going to explain this to all my real estate agent partners, and me, the loan officer, I'm going to turn all my real estate agent partners into outside account reps, and I'm going to be the biggest damn cheerleader the world has ever seen. I'm going to tell them how great they are, how wonderful it is. I don't care what I think, because I can control what I think, or excuse me, I cannot control what I think, but I certainly can control what I say. And if we have to wear multiple masks, as a good salesperson does, I'll wear the appropriate mask, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, that's the information I got from this slide just now. Now, the question then becomes, is this something that you're going to do? What we can control and what we cannot control. Here's a question I have for you. Did you know that 8 out of 9, the last 9 times that the Feds in a short period of time raised the Fed fund rate by 4%, that we went into a recession? 9 times since 1961. So we've got a 40, 50, 60 plus year window to look at over here. 9 times since 1961, the central bank has embarked on a series of interest rate increases to rein in inflation. 8 of the times a recession followed. I don't know anything about recessions, but here's what I do know. I do know odds. And if you're a betting man and you go to Vegas with these odds, you're going to make a lot of money. It's no different than your business. You can make a lot of money. And the central bank is not that far away from what it considers a normal interest rate target of about 2.4%. So it may not have to move too far, too fast in ways that might damage the economy overall. However, we've already made the moves necessary. The moves that should 8 out of 9 times would now be 9 out of 10 times lead us into a recession if we're not already in one right now. Now, why does this matter? I don't know, because if I look at the history, whenever we go in a recession, the Fed starts increasing the balance sheet and rates start to come down. When rates come down, there's going to be this unequilibrium in the housing market, where demand, which is down in a lot of markets right now, where houses are sitting longer, where concessions can be got. There's going to be an opportunity when rates drop, and if you can time this perfectly, and it means you got to start now, you got to take action, things you can't control. You got to identify those people in your past client database. You got to identify those in your realtors databases, and you have to have the programs and the means and the wherewithal to put this in place, which means start writing these loans right now for the people who say yes. You put those on the books, and when you get the moment, you execute. Have your real estate agent find these houses. Have your real estate agent go to some of these beat up houses in your neighborhood. I see this crap when I ride my bike to work or I take my scooter to work and I see 10 nice houses and the 11th one, it looks like a meth lab is in there. You know what I mean? That's probably a non-owner occupied property. You got tenants in there who are a pain in the ass, and there's a good chance that investor might want to dump that property. Give your realtors a reason to wake up for work and go to work and do the things they need to do. Be that person with an answer. Because if we find ourselves in a recession and the Fed's doing about face on everything, and they are kind of civil about this right now, they're very hot and cold, aren't they? If they do an about face and we start seeing interest rates go down while the demand is low and concessions can be had and rates are lowering, that special little window is going to be an opportunity for a bunch of real estate agents and loan officers who have it together because they understand what's going on. Identifying our fears, I thought these were pretty good. Do you find your mind going to the worst possible scenario? Do you doubt your ability to cope with something when something bad happens? Usually we overpredict the impact of certain events in our life. This is not to say negative events or feelings do not come up. Research just shows that we often overestimate how much and for how long these things will impact us. Building awareness of this process and acknowledging our ability to adverse events can allow us to get unstuck. Again, I just showed you a graph right now that said properties are becoming unaffordable. I could go ahead and take a cursory look at that information on that graph and I could say, this is bad news for me. I'm going to hang my hat of failure upon that graph. Properties are unaffordable right now. Therefore, the problems that I'm facing in my business are external. There are things that I absolutely cannot control, and I'm exactly where I should be based on the market. You see, it's not my fault. So I took the things I can't control and I made them my problem, didn't I? But I just showed you a couple of different ways where you could take that information and turn it into something positive. And it's really that, again, what we can that's what we can control, excuse me. Here's how we know we're going in the right direction for loan officers. Here's how we know that we're probably just running down the road of recession right now. Housing inventory is growing. This is interesting because when we look at new builds are down. However, overall inventory is going up. Remember I told you these people kind of get these happy feet that want to move and start spending their money? One way to spend your money is to sell your house, isn't it? Buy that bigger house. Everything that I'm talking about is already taking in place. The plan has been set and it's being executed right before our eyes. We only see it if we're looking to see it. If we're not looking to see it, we're not going to. Weekly inventory changes for April 12th to the 19th. Inventory rose from 526,000 to 543,000. We're looking at 20,000 overall properties. That's good. The same week last year, inventory rose from 406 to 414. So we're looking at 8,000 over there. The all-time low since 2022 is 240,000. So we about doubled that. So we're trending in the right direction here. Again, for us, inventory is a good thing for us. When it comes to recession, not so much. When it comes to selling a house, not so much. But for people who are buying, and that's what we do, loans for people who want to buy a house, it's great news for us. And our peak was back in our peak for 2023 was 569,000, basically 570,000. However, as you can see from the chart on your right-hand side, if we go back to 2001, we're about half of where we need to be. So yes, trending in the right direction. Yes, this could be a canary in the coal mine. The truth is it doesn't really matter, does it? If you have not identified the landmines that are in front of you and the opportunities that are in front of you and a way to hopscotch on the opportunities and avoid those landmines, then we're not professionally looking at our business the right way. Here is at least a plan of attack for you to go ahead and look at things the right way. National single-family listings with price drops. Again, 2024, it's 32%. Back in 2022, it's 18%. Not a good sign for a recession, but a great sign for us. For the astute mind who's looking at this, especially if you're looking at investment properties, that means at least 32% of the time. So if you're looking at 3 properties, talk with your borrowers, talk with your realtors, educate your real estate agents, get in front of them, make them valuable referral sources by arming them with opportunity. Explain to the borrowers when they're showing properties, say, hey, listen, if we want to get the best deals, what I need you to do is lower your expectations just a little bit here, just a skosh, just a little bit, tiny bit, and I want you to find 2 or 3 houses that are going to fit the bill for what you're looking for. If we can do that, we increase our probability of going and getting the concessions you need in order to get the rate that you want or in order to get the cash that you need to make this thing pencil for you. That is a fantastic analytic for mortgage loan officers, real estate agents, and the clients that they represent. Freddie Mac is proposing a home equity product that could unlock $850 billion in origination. On Tuesday, the FHFA announced a request for comment on a proposal to allow the government-sponsored enterprises to purchase single-family closed-end second mortgages when it owns the risk of the corresponding first lien mortgage, subject to a combined loan-to-value of lower than 80%. Here comes the 90s, guys. Not grunge rock in the 90s. No, we're talking about 90% LTV. This is a big one. You don't necessarily have to go non-QM, even though some of those non-QM guys out there, like my partners over at Oak Tree, who kick ass, are already going to 90% cash out, even on investment property with bank statement loans. Yes, they do that. No, but I'm also talking about our GSEs, our government-sponsored enterprises. They're going to open up what they believe to be a $1 trillion industry. Remember that strategy I told you at the beginning of this that you could do with either real estate agents or going consumer direct? Yeah. This could be huge. And when I think of all the folks that are hired over at the GSEs right now, I know they've got better prognosticators than I am. I know that they've got better people at figuring out and analyzing all the statistical data and anomalies, and they came up with this number for a reason. I know that to be true, and they're trying to provide the market with what it needs right now. And of course, they have the ear of all of those who can make this happen. Equity slips, yet remains strong. This graph is actually old by today's standards because earlier today I saw one that says we're back up to record peaks in terms of the equity that we have. But here's a number here's what I want you guys to understand when you look at this and everything we're talking about today. This number decreased from the third quarter of 2023 equity rich numbers. Equity rich is when you have over 50% value on your home in the form of equity. Your LTV is less than 50%. 47.4% of properties have over 50% equity right now. That's a massive number, making it the second straight quarter of decline. Again, it would appear to be negative news. Year over year, this figure is down from 48%, but what this fails to tell you is that 48% was the highest number ever. So yes, we're off the highest number ever, but when we're looking at equity-rich folks right now, you got a coin flip to get this thing right. What you have to do as a loan officer, as a real estate agent, is keep flipping coins. Find these people, find what they want to do with that money, talk to them about increasing their real estate holdings, be the ones to provide the loan, be the ones to provide the property, make it easy for people to say yes, and you will close more transactions. And by the way, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about manufacturing buyers. You go find buyers right now who don't even know their purchasing intentions. We go out there and we use the power of persuasion with them. Back to our little steps that are going to kind of help us get here. And there's one that I absolutely love. Shifting any energy towards problem solving rather than ruminating. That's right. We don't want to ruminate anymore. We want to problem solve. Look at the opportunity in every analytic. In up markets and down markets, you always have opportunity. Stagnant markets, not so much. But when things are moving, there's always a winner. There's always a loser. We need to be on the winning side of this thing. So I just gave you a number of different ways to get there. Focusing on our influence. My God, is this a big one right now? With yours real estate agents for a loan officer, you're going to go over there and act like everybody else, which is Tiny Tim. You're going to go to these real estate agents and you're going to beg for that one transaction they get twice a year. Please, more porridge for me, sir. Right? That type of thing. I close my deals on time. I've got the best interest rates. I'm the best communicator. I always pick up my phone. You liar, you liar, you liar. However, don't worry. Nobody's picking up their phones right now. I know it because I call loan officers and realtors all the time, and it's remarkable. Everybody's acting like they're closing record numbers of deals because they never pick up their phone. You become the person who actually picks up your phone, but I'm thinking hogwash. Realtors hear that from every lender who's hitting them up for their business. I'm not doing that at all. I'm going to these real estate agents, and I'm saying, how would you like an opportunity? Yeah, I'm going to get your 2 deals a year. I want those 2 deals a year. I want them, but how would you like an opportunity? I'll give you an opportunity if you promise to follow up on it. Do you want that opportunity? Yes or no? And if they say no, move on to the next. There are real estate agents everywhere right now, and they're all hungry. We're fishing in a stock pond where there's a drought and there's half the water there needs to be. These agents need to have direction, and they're not finding it because most of these large brokerages are spending all of their time, energy, and resources fighting off lawsuits. No, you become the person with the plan. We increase our influence. We become the person who's got solutions where others have failed. Have that conversation, and then you stand out as a loan officer. Again, here's an interesting one. We can go ahead and we can look at our sales, our median sales price, our inventory, and our supply. These are all fantastic numbers. Sales are down. That means our economy is slipping. Sales prices are up. That doesn't seem to really jive. However, what that tells us is we still have demand, which is far outpacing our supply lines. Our inventory is going up. And sales prices are still going up. These are great numbers for us, guys. And monthly supply, once again, is going up. Sales are going down. Why? Because prices are going up. Everything's going up. There's only one way to slice and dice this one, and we have pent-up demand for these properties. But we know that these people are getting itchy fingers, don't we? That's why they're tapping into their equity. I'm saying go ahead and hold on to your house, increase your real estate holdings. That's what all of these numbers, they're screaming at us right now that this is what we need to do. And my last point over here, and I thought, listen, we can think ourselves into paralysis. I've got so many great ideas, and I'm so damn smart, I talk myself out of every one of them. The things that I control, I talk myself out of every good decision because I'm so damn smart. Yeah, let's stop doing that. Scientists estimate that people have about 70,000 thoughts per day. How in the hell do we keep anything straight? And the fact is, it's hard. It means we have to be astute. We have to be present in what we're doing. Showing up to work as a loan officer or real estate agent and treating it as a job where you're working the fryer at a fast food restaurant ain't gonna cut it. We have to go to work with building our business in mind absolutely every single day of the week. And to that end, what you ought to do is put yourself together a personal mission statement, write that sucker down, I'm not even joking, and go ahead and say it to yourself and remind yourself, say it over and over again until you believe it before you leave the house. Do that every day. Give yourself clarity of thought. So when your 70,000 thoughts come to you on a daily basis, you can go ahead and organize these things and you can prioritize what you need to be doing well above the things that you want to be doing. And when you can do that, you can find a way to succeed. And hey, listen, again, you guys want to talk about anything? Yes, we've got ideas. We've got groups that we're working together with on this type of stuff. All you have to do is send me a text to 330-1272. That's area code 707. Reach out to me. And if you want to jump into my ecosystem where we have a seamless integration of what we do with our work and what we do with our strategies and opportunity on the outcomes of everything, you can have that conversation. Send me a text to 707-330-1272. With that said, my name is Brian Stevens. I look forward to talking to you guys in the future. Make sure you share this and make sure you leave me your comments down below. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. With that said,